Our research study is on barriers and facilitators to the disclosure of childhood sexual abuse in emerging adults aged 18 to 24. The purpose of the study is to assess potential facilitators and barriers to disclosing childhood sexual abuse among surviving emerging adults, those between the ages of 18 and 24 years old. The justification behind this is that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 20 boys experience CSA within their youth. It has become a public health concern as well as a taboo topic at this time, and it leads to lasting mental, physical, and behavioral concerns for the survivors. There's limited research targeting emerging adults at this time, and there's also limited research and understanding of facilitators over disclosures. Moving along to our literature review, we're going to start with the first theme, that is disclosure as a lifelong process. So disclosure is not a finite event. It's an actual ongoing process that unfolds with age and time, as well as many other factors. There are so many things that play a role, and we're going to go into that within the next slides. But this can take place on many different occasions and to many different people as well. There is just definitely a need to understand exactly what factors are influencing one's choice to disclose or withhold this information at this time.
Unfortunately, there are a number of barriers that discourage survivors of CSA from disclosing their trauma. These include internal barriers, relational barriers, and societal barriers. One of the internal barriers that survivors may experience are feelings of shame and guilt. And in a relational context, survivors can also feel conflicted about disclosure when the person who abused them is a family member or someone close to the family. A survivor may live in a household or environment where disclosing their abuse is not safe for them, and some may even be punished by family members or the abuser for disclosing. They may also have a fear of others in the community not believing them or other potential negative consequences that may arise after their disclosure. There isn't currently as much data on facilitators as there are on barriers to disclosure, but some research has found common themes that do facilitate disclosure. The pressure cooker effect has been noted as an internal facilitator, where the emotional distress of keeping the secret becomes too much for a survivor, eventually enabling them to disclose. Individuals and society can also encourage survivors to disclose by providing counseling, sexual abuse prevention programs, education to increase the awareness of CSA, and presentations in schools. It is also really important to normalize discussions of sexual abuse and provide a safe space for open discussion. Some survivors may be inspired to disclose if famous people and other role models disclose about their own abuse. It is also believed that research on how adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, can contribute to mental health struggles may also be serving as a facilitator to disclosure.
Gender and age both appear in the literature as influences on CSA disclosure. Females are overall more likely to disclose than males. A delay of disclosure until adulthood is typical for all, but men tend to wait much longer. When men do disclose, they are far more likely to confide in a friend, and they are the least likely to seek help from a mental health professional. Unfortunately, many men report receiving negative responses to their CSA disclosure. Some barriers to disclosure for males can be related to cultural aspects of masculinity, such as stereotypes that men should be stoic, strong, and independent, along with self-blame, a fear of being viewed as gay, the misconception that boys are rarely victimized, and fear of becoming abusers themselves. For age-related factors, one study in particular examined the ways victimized youth ask for help and described 4 help-seeking profiles: those who disclose to friends, those who disclose to parents or another trusted older figure, those who seek professional help, and a final group they called self-reliant, those who don't seek help from others at all. The majority of youth in the study fell in the first 2 categories, and men were the most likely to fall into the self-reliant category. So young people within the age group that we are looking at are overall not very likely to reach out for professional help. Other influences for the age group are the desire to be independent, a lack of mental health literacy, and perceptions about whether or not they have social support. Another theme that came up for us is the importance of the confidant or the person the CSA is disclosed to. Since individuals in our study age group are most inclined to seek help from someone they know personally, the way their disclosure is received is critical. The confidant can be the one to encourage the survivor to see a mental health professional or a negative response might prevent that. This highlights the need for education about child sexual abuse and how to best respond to a CSA disclosure, as well as a need to promote help-seeking behaviors in a positive way.
Within our literature review, there were not many gaps or differences that we came across. Mostly we found overlapping themes, findings, and insights from the articles and researchers who were studying the topic. These are our references, and we thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed this presentation.